Have you ever been forced to choose between a glamorous life and a simple, genuine love? What if the most unexpected person in the room turns out to be the one who truly changes everything? In a mansion filled with wealth and privilege, 8-year-old Mason was given a choice: pick a new mother from 5 elegant women or follow his heart. But what happened next shocked everyone. Secrets were uncovered, lies exposed, and a powerful lesson about what really matters was learned. Stay with us, because the truth behind this extraordinary story will surprise you, challenge your beliefs, and touch your heart like nothing else. And trust me, the ending is something you don't want to miss. At 8 a.m., Emily Harper was carefully wiping down the crystal dining table in the Grand Caldwell estate in Charleston. The mansion was massive, its polished floors gleaming in the soft morning light. But Emily's attention was on the tiny smudge she had yet to erase. 4 months into her job as the housekeeper, she had grown accustomed to the luxury, but today felt different. Something in the air hinted at change. Her eyes caught the sight of 5 sleek luxury cars pulling up the long driveway. The engines hummed, their owners preparing to step out. Upstairs, Ethan Caldwell, the wealthy patriarch, looked out the window at his son Mason, an 8-year-old boy with an inquisitive face and wide eyes. Ethan pointed toward the arriving guests. "Mason, the 5 women we talked about have arrived. They'll be staying here for the next month," Ethan explained. Mason watched the elegant ladies stepping out of their cars dressed impeccably in designer clothes. "At the end of it all, I want you to choose one to be your new mom. Okay?" Mason nodded, trying to look excited. "Even if I don't like any of them, you will," Ethan said with certainty. "They're well-mannered, from influential families. I'm sure you'll like them." But then from downstairs, a loud crash shattered the polished calm. The sharp sound of breaking glass echoed through the mansion, followed by a furious voice. "You stupid housekeeper! You broke my expensive glass!" Emily froze. Her fingers trembled as she looked down and saw shards of a crystal goblet scattered on the floor, one of her fingers bleeding from a small cut. She hadn't meant to break it, it was an accident. But the woman towering over her, Olivia Bennett, folded her arms and sneered. "That glass was imported, worth more than your yearly salary," Olivia spat with venom. "People like you shouldn't be allowed near anything valuable." Ethan hurried down the stairs with Mason trailing close behind. He found Emily on her knees, gathering the pieces, her eyes cast down in shame. Olivia stood over her, eyes blazing with disdain. The other 4 women, Chloe Montgomery, Madison, Clark, Grace Sullivan, and Sophia Reynolds, entered, their expressions cold and calculating as they eyed Emily. "This is humiliating," whispered Chloe under her breath, but loud enough for Emily to hear. Trying to diffuse the tension, Ethan stepped forward. "Ladies, accidents happen, but not with uneducated people," shot back. Chloe glaring at Emily. Mason's little face scrunched with confusion as he ran to Emily's side. "Emily, are you okay?" Emily looked up, her eyes glistening with tears she had been holding back. "It's just a scratch, Mason," she said softly. Olivia raised an eyebrow. Why the familiarity? Ethan took a deep breath, realizing he needed to manage the situation carefully. "Since you're all here, let's do proper introductions. This is Emily, our housekeeper, and you are the candidates Mason will be spending time with." Olivia smiled falsely, stepping forward. "Olivia Bennett, from a long-standing family in Charleston. I graduated with honors in international relations." Chloe added, "Chloe Montgomery, model and influencer. I've lived in Paris." Madison introduced herself with a practiced smile. "Madison Clark, attorney at one of Charleston's top law firms." Grace spoke next, Grace Sullivan, dermatologist with a clinic downtown. Sophia finished with a nod, Sophia Reynolds, architect specializing in luxury homes. All 5 women ignored Emily as if she didn't exist. Emily stood quietly beside Mason, still holding the bloodied rag. Ethan addressed them. "For the next 30 days, you'll be living here, getting to know Mason and our family. At the end, Mason will choose who he wants as his new mom." "And what about the housekeeper?" Olivia asked, eyes narrowing. "She'll stay working here," Ethan replied firmly. The tension thickened as Madison and Chloe exchanged looks. "We just hope she knows her place," Madison whispered. Ethan frowned. "What do you mean?" Madison shrugged. "Nothing important. Just that it's best to keep things organized, everyone in their place." Mason squeezed Emily's hand. Come see the drawing. I just made Emily. Before Emily could respond, Grace interrupted. Your employee should be cleaning that mess instead. But she's hurt, Mason protested. Emily smiled gently. It's okay, Mason. I'll clean up fast, then we can look at your drawing. Olivia's gaze sharpened as she watched the tender exchange, her eyes filled with suspicion. After lunch, the 5 women gathered on the veranda to strategize. Each brought gifts. Olivia unveiled the latest tablet with games loaded. Chloe promised a trip to Disney Madison, researched elite schools, Grace scheduled the best pediatric checkups, and Sophia planned to renovate Mason's bedroom with luxurious designs. When Mason appeared timidly on the veranda, Olivia called out, holding up the tablet. Mason's eyes lit up for a brief moment, then dimmed again. Thanks, he muttered, his smile fleeting. Emily arrived with a tray of cinnamon cookies and fresh juices. Mason's face transformed instantly. Emily, did you make these cookies? I sure did, Mason, she said, revealing colorful origami paper. And I brought new paper for us to fold. Mason clapped with genuine joy. Can you help me with math too? Of course, Emily replied warmly. The 5 women watched silently, unable to hide their discomfort. Chloe cleared her throat. Mason, don't you think you should try more suitable activities like sports or languages I like? Origami. Mason answered simply. Madison exchanged a worried look with the others. That closeness is unusual. That night after Mason was asleep, the 5 women convened in the living room. We need to talk, Olivia whispered. About what? Grace asked. This situation with the housekeeper is getting out of control, Olivia said, eyes cold. Did you see how Mason reacts around her? It's unhealthy. Kids need to know who's in charge, Madison added. Exactly, Grace nodded. It's about order, his place and hers. Olivia peered out the window. We're here to win Ethan over and make sure Mason is properly raised. How can we do that with that housekeeper meddling? What are you suggesting? Chloe asked, voice low. Teach her a lesson. Make her understand she's just staff and stay in her lane. Upstairs, Ethan struggled to concentrate on work, troubled by what he saw. He knew the ways wealthy families kept appearances, but the cruelty toward Emily was shocking. Yet the change in Mason was undeniable, from a withdrawn, unhappy boy to one who laughed and played like a normal child. Later, Mason entered Ethan's office pajamas, rumpled, clutching a paper. Look what Emily taught me today, he said, showing a perfect origami bird. That's wonderful, Ethan smiled, pulling his son close. What did you think of the women today? Mason hesitated. They're pretty and their gifts are nice. But Emily is nicer. Why? Because she's real. The others act different when I'm around, but Emily is always the same. Ethan's frown deepened. His son's words struck him, a child's intuition, revealing what adults missed. Will you keep Emily? Mason asked. Why would I let her go? Ethan replied. She's been here for months and you like her. I wouldn't fire her. Promise, promise, Ethan said, relieved. Mason smiled and kissed his father goodnight. As Mason left, Ethan sat alone, knowing the coming days would be stormy. This fragile peace wouldn't last. The days that followed were a whirlwind of tension and deception. Ethan, uneasy with the undercurrents of hostility in his own home, decided to take a closer look. He discreetly installed hidden cameras throughout the mansion, watching the interactions unfold from his private office. What he saw shocked him. Olivia, Chloe, Madison, Grace, and Sophia weren't just distant or unfriendly to Emily. They were actively sabotaging her. One morning, Sophia was caught deliberately spilling coffee on the freshly cleaned sofa, smirking as Emily hurried to blot the stain. Another time, Madison was seen purposely knocking over a vase, only to blame the clumsy housekeeper. Olivia whispered spiteful remarks into the others' ears, urging them to make her life impossible. Mason, ever vigilant, defended Emily, but even his innocence couldn't shield her from the venomous tactics. Despite the constant harassment, Emily remained steadfast, quietly enduring the cruelty. Mason's transformation continued to astonish Ethan. His son laughed more, played more, and even started sleeping peacefully for the first time in months. Ethan's heart ached, knowing this bright spot in his life was under siege. Public whispers soon began to seep outside the mansion walls. Rumors circulated that Emily was manipulating Mason to win Ethan's heart, that she was scheming to usurp the women's place. Gossip spread like wildfire on social media, And in Charleston's elite circles, fueled by shadowy messages and malicious posts, the tension escalated into a full-blown scandal. Ethan received calls from concerned business partners worried that his private affairs might damage his reputation and investments. Investors pressured him for explanations. Friends questioned his judgment. Even his sister Sarah called late one night, voice trembling. "Ethan, is everything okay? I keep hearing troubling things about Emily." The accusations weighed heavily on Ethan. He wanted to believe Emily was innocent. After all, Mason's joy was proof of her kindness. But the lies threatened to pull them apart. Meanwhile, the 5 women intensified their campaign. Olivia coordinated with a private investigator paying for fabricated records and false references, claiming Emily had a history of misconduct. Fake documents surfaced painting a dark picture of Emily's past, designed to discredit her thoroughly. Ethan watched the investigator present the falsified evidence and felt a cold wave of betrayal wash over him. Who would go to such lengths? But Ethan was not easily fooled. He had spent years building his empire, navigating deceit and power plays. He carefully examined the fake files and noticed inconsistencies, dates that didn't align, stamps that looked forged. His suspicions grew, fueling his resolve to uncover the truth. Behind the scenes, Mason was caught in the middle of a battle he barely understood. The women warned him to stop defending Emily or risk being confused about his place in the family. "You have to understand your role," Madison said coldly. But Mason's heart was loyal. He saw Emily as more than a housekeeper. She was his protector, his friend, his family. One afternoon, Mason confronted the women with a boldness that surprised everyone. "You're lying about Emily. I saw you spill the coffee and knock over the vase." His words hung heavy in the room, and for a moment silence reigned. Then Olivia snapped, "You don't know what you're saying, boy. Be careful who you trust." Ethan's surveillance footage became his weapon. He gathered every clip showing the women's malicious acts, their conspiracies, and their whispered threats. The evidence was damning. Determined to clear Emily's name and protect his son, Ethan called a meeting with the 5 women. Their confident smiles faded as he presented the footage, one incriminating moment after another. They scrambled for excuses, but the truth was undeniable. In a stunning twist, Ethan announced he had arranged a grand event, a gathering of family, friends, and media, where the real story would be unveiled. The mansion buzzed with anticipation and tension as preparations began. Emily, nervous but resolute, was asked to play along with a painful charade to appear hurt and defeated, as if she had lost the battle. She agreed, trusting Ethan's plan. As the day of the event dawned, whispers spread through Charleston society. The 5 women arrived dressed to impress, ready to claim their prize. But as Ethan took the stage, the atmosphere shifted. He calmly unveiled the truth, playing the hidden recordings for the audience. The women's deceit was laid bare for all to see. Mason's heartfelt testimony followed his declaration of love and trust for Emily, silenced the room. In a moment that stunned everyone, Ethan took Emily's hand and proposed marriage in front of the crowd. Cheers erupted, tears flowed, and the false queens were left to face their downfall. As the celebration unfolded, Ethan spoke words that echoed deeply. Love is not about wealth or status. It's about truth, kindness, and heart. Mason taught me that, and today we honor that lesson. The story didn't just end with justice. It sparked a wider conversation about compassion, prejudice, and the courage to see beyond social mass. The day of the grand reveal arrived with the kind of tension that made the air thick and heavy. The Caldwell estate, usually a serene sanctuary, buzzed with anticipation. Family, friends, local media, and Charleston's elite gathered in the sprawling garden, eager to witness the conclusion of a saga that had captivated the city. Ethan stood at the center, calm yet resolute, as the 5 women, Olivia, Chloe, Madison, Grace, and Sophia, arrived, their smiles carefully practiced, but eyes shadowed with unease. They had prepared their best facades, expecting to celebrate a triumph. Instead, they were walking into a reckoning. The ceremony began with Ethan addressing the crowd. His voice was steady and commanding. "Thank you all for coming. Today isn't just about choosing a new mother for Mason or a partner for me. It's about truth, integrity, and recognizing what really matters in life." A hush fell over the crowd as Ethan played the series of hidden camera videos that revealed the true nature of the women's actions, deliberate sabotage, lies, and manipulation aimed at destroying Emily's reputation and tearing apart a family. Gasps echoed through the garden, disbelief painted on faces, once eager to side with the wealthy candidates. Mason, standing beside Ethan, stepped forward. His voice, though small, carried the weight of unwavering honesty. "Emily isn't just our housekeeper. She's my family. She loves me for who I am, not for what I have. She never tried to change me or trick anyone. I want her to be my mom." The crowd's silence broke into applause, cheers swelling around them. Ethan turned to Emily, now standing tall despite the storm she'd weathered. Taking her hand, he spoke clearly and passionately. "Emily Harper, will you marry me and be the mother of my son and partner in life?" Tears streamed down Emily's face as she nodded. "Yes, Ethan. Yes." The applause grew louder, some people wiping their own tears, moved by the raw honesty and courage on display. The five women stood frozen, their world unraveling in real time. As the crowd slowly began to disperse, whispers of admiration for Emily and Ethan's courage spread like wildfire. In the weeks that followed, the scandal faded, but the story remained a beacon of hope and a testament to the power of love over prejudice. Emily became a symbol of dignity and resilience, inspiring others who felt trapped by social barriers and unjust judgments. The Caldwell family grew stronger, bound not by wealth or status, but by genuine affection and mutual respect. Mason flourished, finally free to be himself without the pressure of appearances or false expectations. Months later, a simple, heartfelt wedding took place in the same garden where the truth was revealed. Friends and family gathered not for pomp or grandeur, but to celebrate a love that transcended class and convention. Mason proudly standing as the ring bearer beamed with joy. As Emily and Ethan exchanged vows, their words echoed a universal truth: that love, honesty, and kindness build the strongest foundations. They promised to face life's challenges together, cherishing not what they had materially, but what they shared deeply in their hearts. The story of Emily and the Caldwell family became a cherished narrative, reminding everyone watching that real families are made by love, not by money or social standing. Thanks for watching. Sorry for the interruption, but we hope you will help us improve our content in the future. What feelings did this story stir in you? Do you believe love can truly overcome social barriers? How would you react if you were Mason, having to choose between appearances and genuine care? If this story moved you, please comment 100 below. Also, let us know where you're watching from your country, and don't forget to share this video with your friends and family. Your voice matters.